Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening to everyone. Welcome to online sharing session. Multitasking skills make you an awesome all-rounder. I am Shahira Ezani, a Part 2 Pharmacy student of University Technology Mara UiTM, your moderator for today's program. Thank you for joining us today and we hope you will enjoy the rest of the program. Before we start, the audience may leave your questions to the panelists in the chat box for Q&A question at the end of this program. I am very honored to introduce to you our guest speakers that are joining us today. Firstly, we have Miss Jessica Teh Ying with us, the President of Malaysian Pharmacy Students Association, MyPSA. Let me tell you a little bit about her educational background. Miss Jessica achieved 5 A's and 8 A's for her UPSR and PT3 examination respectively. She achieved 6 A plus and 3 A's in SPM, and she was an alumni of Asasi Pinta UKM and managed to get CGPA of 4.0 for her foundation. Miss Jessica is currently studying Bachelor in Pharmacy with honours at University Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM with the latest CGPA of 3.89. Miss Jessica, can you please say hi to our audience?
Hi everyone, I'm so glad that UiTM actually invited me for this event, and let's stay active and share whatever we have today. Just a chill session with everyone.
Wow, that's very fantastic of you. So next we have Vice President 1 of MyPSA with us, Miss Cheng Su-En. She got 5 A's for UPSR and 9 A's for PT3. For SPM, she managed to achieve 9 A along with the award Pelajar Terbaik and Pelajar Terbaik Aliran Sains 2016. Now, she's studying Bachelor in Pharmacy at Talis University and she got Dean's List for 2019 and 2020. And also, she got Extracurricular Excellence Award for 2020. So, Miss Suen, Can you please say hi to our audience?
Hi everyone, a very good afternoon. Even though I can't see you guys, but I hope this sharing session will be fun and informative for you guys. So just sit back and relax.
Yay. Okay, thank you, Miss N. So now we move to our next speaker, Miss Aisha Shafia binti Abdul Wahab, the Treasurer of Medical Students Association, MESTA. She is currently on fifth semester of her education, a year 3 Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery of UiTM student. She initially achieved 5A in UPSR and 8A1B for SPM. She managed to get CGPA of 4.0 for her science foundation. So I'm sorry to announce that Miss Aisha Shafia cannot be here with us right now as she had academic schedules that cannot be avoided. And for our last speaker, we have Miss Alia Nabila binti Muhammad Shahiruakmal, the top academic EXCO of MESTA. She is currently on the third semester of her education, a year 2 MBBS student of UiTM. She was a student of SBPI Kubang Pasu and managed to get 11 A's for SPM. Before she became a medical student, she took foundation in science at UiTM. Miss Alia Nabila, can you unmute your mic and say hi to the audience?
Hi everyone. So even though I can't see you, I hope this sharing session will be very beneficial to you. And please, please drop down lots of questions so we can answer them. And I hope this will be a very beneficial session for all of us. Thank you.
That's very great introduction. So now let's jump to our topic today. Multitasking skills make you an awesome all-rounder. When we talk about multitasking, it's actually an invaluable skill because not all people have the ability to do so. There are so many clever students out there, but what it takes to be an all-rounder student is the capability to actually handle many things at a time. These skills will be useful in future. For example, if we already have work, want to have family and so on. So it is best if we start how to multitask step by step and apply it to our daily lives right away. So without further ado, Miss Jessica, I was so amazed and fascinated as I was reading your educational background. So as a pharmacy student and the president of MyPSA, what makes you determined to make responsibility of being a high-ranking role in large organization like MyPSA. Can you share few important tips or techniques that can maintain your academic performance?
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Shahira, for the question. So I will answer to the first question first, which is as a pharmacist student, as well as the president of MyPSA, what makes me determined to take the responsibility of being a high-ranking role in a large organization like MyPSA? So for those who don't know what is MyPSA, it's basically Malaysian Pharmacy Students Association. It's an association that covers all pharmacy schools and pharmacy students in Malaysia, which come up to 4,000 members under us. So I would not say as a high ranking post, it's just a responsibility and all the positions are equally important. What makes me determined to actually go for this position, although knowing that I have other commitments in university to get to stay in to continue to stay in my hostels as well as at my uni events, is basically when I saw the nomination form, I actually can see the things that I can change for this association. I have a direction for it because when COVID, I was the education officer last tenure, and once COVID hit, a lot of things changes. Like we are suddenly don't know where to go, what events we can do because it's a huge change to every single one of us, including the ones that are listening to us, and as well as all the panelists. So, but I see the challenge as something that we can change. There's a potential for my PSA to grow forward from this, and I can actually bring it to be more active, and that is why it makes me determined to go for this position. Because I feel like if we have a direction for it, we have something, we know what to do, then we should actually just go for it. And but if I want to do this alone, it's impossible because we need a huge team to actually make any changes. Alone is just a drop of water, but together we are like an ocean when you're working together. So that is one of the reason. It's basically the passion that is burning in me. The second thing would be I actually enjoy guiding people and actually growing with the others. Because when you are in a large organization, you are going to learn so many skills like multitasking and so on. And as a leader, it's actually not about leading the team. It's more than that. It's basically to be happy about guiding your teammates, to actually stay up with them and work together with them, but not only giving them work and just go away. That's not a leader. So when you're a leader, when you're multitasking, it's not only about the task that you manifested, but it's also about helping your teammates to actually achieve their tasks. And besides that, as a leader, I would say more than work, it would be more like a mental support to let your members know that no matter what happened, you're actually there for them. And this is when you're leading a huge organization. When I also start as a small leader, as a team leader or unit leader, so it actually brings me a lot of changes. At a starting point, I was like, is it okay for me to let them to do a work? Is it okay for me to just leave pen and go? Will it be fine? Or should I actually, maybe I should just take the whole thing and do? Yeah, that was my starting mindset. And slowly, by time go on, like I realized that that's actually wrong. I'm not actually teaching them anything, but actually what it's more correct for me to do, as well as to train their multitasking skills, will be leave hand, let them to have the courage to do it, but also let them to trust that at the end of the day, anything goes wrong, they can actually come to you, and that would makes a good leader. So the third reason that I go for this position is because I hope that no one is left behind in MyPSA, because it's a whole organization that would have different people in it. Some of them are as active members, subcommittees, executive officers, student advisors, and so on. And I hope that everyone are actually they know their worth in MyPSA. For example, if you pay for a membership and you're not getting any activities, I feel like actually it's our fault as a leader. And although it's got to be a lot of things to do, but at the end of the day, it's going to benefit the people who pay for it and they know their worth of actually joining this association. The next reason would be I see this as a challenge towards my own limit, because no one's going to the position thinking that, okay, no problem, I can definitely be okay with it. The time, I got extra time. No such thing. When I'm nominating myself, I know that I might not, it might affect my study. It might be a huge challenge for that. I might not have so much time to sleep and so on. But yeah, that only at the point where you challenge your limit, you would know that you actually can go further than what you think you couldn't. It's actually you who's stopping yourself. So, and it is also something that I feel it can train myself to be a stronger person. So, but to be honest, at times I do doubt about my multitasking skills, my time management as well. But nothing is easy in life, because only when you've gone through the toughness, then the next time when it comes to you, the things will be easier. Basically, it's not the thing getting easier. It's just you being more capable and to manage your own time. So everyone should really just try. I know there will be fear in you, but overcome your fears to actually just try it out. And the last thing that keeps me determined to go this far is actually the opportunity I see in every positions that you take. So in every position that you take, it can actually benefits you in a way that at the end of the day, it's your personal growth. You can have more connections. It trains your professionalism. Although yes, it might be obstacle in between. When I start as a student, I don't know how to talk to an external speakers. I do not know how to talk to a company, but these are the things that you slowly gain and learn about your professionalism. And also the teamwork of MyPSA is we have subcommittees up to 100 students, and also it's not only about us, we have to work with other universities to keep this association going on. So it's a teamwork with among the team as well as your external parties, as with your members and your main boards. This is something that I feel it's the opportunity that can let me to learn and be better, as well as the listening skills, speaking skills, talking to different people. We need a different slang, a different way at different situation. And these are not things that I feel academically we can learn about. That's why we should go further to try better, to try other things out in life. Plus, university, it's basically not for us to come in to learn how to study, but to me, when we come into university, it's basically teach us how to be a better person for our future, because there's going to be more stress when you go into adult world, go into working world, and these are things that when you are uni students, you are allowed to make mistakes. People wouldn't say that. People still going to think that, oh, it's okay, yeah, they're just a student. Now mind. That is why this is the time that we should take up of courage. We don't have much commitments, and this is time that it's a trial and error process for us. So yes, this is basically towards my first question. Back to the moderator. May I know what's the second question?
Oh, the second question, can you share a few important tips or techniques that can maintain your academic performance?
Academic performance. Interesting.
Yes. Let me read back the educational background of Miss Jessica. Lately, she is currently on her sixth semester, and for the last 5 semester, she has a total CGPA of 3.89. And as a pharmacy student, that was really incredible. So we would like to know your tips and techniques towards being an excellent student.
I think that everyone is excellence. Let's not use that phrase. But academically, I trust that myself been striving for it, because although I'm going for a lot of positions, I feel that I cannot be abandoned or neglecting about my academic studies. So just a few tips on how I keep myself maintained with this academic performance. First is I keep all my academic stuff under my control. So basically, I don't get lost when I get a lot of work. When we get into a few new semester, we will have the proforma. But I trust most of you will be like, proforma, no need to read one, download also didn't download, right? But it's actually proforma in there, they actually shows us a lot of things. From your proforma, you will be able to know that the weightage of every of your assessment, the credit hour for the course, as well as on which week you have your lab, which week you have your work. So when you read through the proforma, you can actually transfer it into your calendar so that you know each week how busy you are this week, how busy you're not, and keep everything well controlled. So when you're planning for your events in the future, or you're trying to do other things, maybe start out with small business, you will know which is the period you are more free, or which the period you're more relaxed, and when is more hectic time for you. And also, I would suggest you to use a calendar called Team Up, because you can actually arrange it according to your priorities. You have a different color. For me, exam, I put red color, so it tells me that okay, this is exam. You should know like your priority is there. Come on, girls. And for due date, I put orange color. For those that are not so striking color, I put like maybe a lab and so on. And the next thing would be basically about scheduling yourself. The next thing will more on how are you going to answer an exam question or an assignment question. For me, when we are looking at the assignment, before thinking about what I should answer, what's the answer for it, I would think of what is actually the question asking for. What is the objective of your lecturer wants you to do that, and what's the expectation for your lecturer? Because if you're doing something, you just Google and search. There's too much of information that we can read in Google, but only knowing that what you want and what your lecturer wants, then only you can scope down and save the time that you need to do every of your assignment. So when you have what I would advise is when you have an assignment, read through about it. If you're not sure, ask your lecturer what's the question is asking for. And in exam, when you answer a question, okay, you read the question. If let's say you know the answer, that's good. Then you can just write, you can actually think back which lecture note is that and write it down. But if you don't know the question, how? I mean, everyone have a certain time that we wouldn't know every single question of it. But sometimes we might not know what the question's answer is. So we might skip one chapter, which I hope you guys do that. Or maybe some certain slide we think like, yeah, not important. We just browse through it, but actually it come out in exam what you should do. So what I did is actually, when I'm doing my exam, although it's lecturer who is going to mark it, I see it as a student that never studied the subject before, or even a student who is just in secondary school. You are trying to explain to a secondary school student rather than explaining to a lecturer. So whatever you learn in your high schools, in your foundation years, in your first year and second year, just write it in. Because when you have the mindset that you're writing this for a lecturer to mark, you'll be like, lecturer so pandai, never mind lah, we just roughly like. But actually, no, every single points that you write in exam might contribute some marks to you. So in exam, it's not about getting how many marks. It's about you showing how much knowledge you have towards it. So when you read the question, you can generalize it and write whatever you understand. Don't give up on the questions, but try as much as you can to write rather than leaving it empty. Then the third thing would be take every assignment seriously. Doesn't matter it's a 3 marks quiz or a 5 mark assessment. Do not be like, just so little mark, never mind, I got an ace well in my final. Leave it. Never mind. simply do can already. 3 marks only, come on, right? But you wouldn't know at the end of the day what would come out. You might have emergency one day before your exam and be like, oh no, I did not score well for my carry mark and now my exam is going on. So if you really want to ace well, everything you should treat it as your final exam. Try your best in every assessment or assignment that is being given. Then also to have a trustworthy group of friends to actually, because when you are doing a lot of things, you might miss class and so on. So you should have a group of friends that you can trust to be your motivations, to actually motivate them as well. It's a two-way. You are motivating them, they're also motivating you as a helping hand for each other, a reminder, an alarm. And to be honest, I sleep late a lot. I want to take this opportunity to thank my friend who is here, who actually helped me through all these thick and thins, because without a friend, I can't do this alone. Then the next thing would be try to teach others when you understand something, because only when you are teaching someone, when you are able to teach someone, that means you are clearly understanding the topic. And for me, it gives me a sense of happiness when I'm able to teach someone. So giving people a hand in their tough times to go through the revision, and this actually motivate me to study harder, so that I know that okay, in the future when people come to me, I'll be able to help them, to actually teach them. And at the very high stress point of your exam, you are able to help your friends, even if it's just a small topic. It will be very helpful, because at those moments. And also as a pharmacy students, I would advise to understand the topic, not to memorize, because in applications we need to understand it more. Ask when you don't know, as well as appreciate every time you have. For example, it's just maybe at a bus stop or just 10 minutes before class. During that time, you can actually go through the lecture notes. And yes, people might say that you are a bookworm, but don't care about what others tagging you. At the end of the day, it's who you are. Who are you going to be at the end of the day? They say you study, they say you bookworm. It's okay. Prove them with your result. Don't take the time to fight with them. Don't get angry with them. We should have mental relax. Do whatever we think it's right. And last but not least is whenever we feel like giving up, try to think that why have you started to take this course up? And how can the knowledge you learn today be able to help people in the future? And I believe that this will be a good motivation to bring you further. And these are a few tips that I think from my personal experience and I can share out during this session. Back to you, Ms. Shahira.
Wow, that's a very, it's a very, there's a lot of content from Miss Jessica's sharing, but was really helpful because I can saw it put your heart into what you want to do. And as for being a MyPSA's president, for being a student, I see that the passion growing out in you, the your mindset is really good from the start. So thank you, Miss Jessica, for the sharing. So now I would like to continue. As a pharmacy student, I always have been curious about medical students and also its systems. I found it very fascinating when I saw medical students participate in this kind of program because it proves that learning medicine is about more than just studying, and this participation demonstrates that the students' abilities can go beyond what they thought they are able to do. Unfortunately, our beloved Miss Aisha could not be here because of unavoidable academic obligations, but we were able to contact her earlier. So we asked Miss Aisha about her being a medical student and a high committee of MESTA. At the same time, uh, I'm sorry, I will read out the question that we gave her. So we asked Miss Aisha, being a medical student and high committee of MESTA at the same time, your schedule would be really tight. Can you tell us briefly about your daily routine and what is the difference between clinical and preclinical year? How do you manage to spend some me time for yourself without affecting your schedule? So she managed to answer this question to share with all of us. So I would like to convey her message from her point of view. Okay. So first thing first, I would like to apologize for my absence today, which is from Miss Shafia. So regarding the question, it's undeniable that my schedule was quite busy when I have monthly exam and also programs to handle. Therefore, I usually plan my week ahead. Even though it's quite cliche, it works. On weekend, I will see through my classes schedule and I will list down things to do, and usually I will arrange the task by the most important to the least important. This helps me to know when to do the task or when to submit it. On free time between classes, I usually do my club works and submit all the papers needed as I was already at the faculty. Miss Aisha Sofia was already at the faculty, as being said in this. And at night, I usually study for 1 to 2 hours and settle all the works that was left. By doing this, I found that I still have plenty time for me time. I still can play and hang out with my friends at the evening. And on weekends, I usually don't do any club works except at night. Thus, I have time to hang out with my friends, to go to the mall or watch movies together. One thing about making schedule is you have to learn how to be. If a lot of tasks and works needed to be done at the same time, this is where the technique of listing down what is important and urgent to unimportant and not urgent will help you. So all in all, for the most important things is to know your priorities. To know your priorities. Put your study first, but don't forget the tasks you need to do for your club. Joining a club should be fun. If you feel otherwise, maybe you should look back to the schedule and what is important to you. Be a good club member, but don't forget your main reason, which is to be a good student. So all in all, what she is trying to say is you need to know the priorities and learn how to be flexible. Let's say if you're supposed to have a class in this morning, but you don't. The class is cancelled, then you maybe wanted don't just waste time on or do anything else. Maybe you can do some club works. Okay, that is what it means to be flexible. So as I can conclude from Miss Aisha, she said to plan your week ahead, be flexible with your schedule, use your free time wisely, know your priorities, and lastly, have fun. Okay, being a student, especially medical and pharmacy students, we shouldn't be stressed all the time, right? Like if we stress, what we are going to do? We will end up fall sick, and we can. So moving on, extracurricular activities are another way to grow their soft skill, their multitasking skills. The experience you gain through the engagement will also serve as a lesson on how you administer a program. While being a full-time student, if you look at MyPSA's Instagram, you'll notice that the organization is always conducting interesting programs such as Young Entrepreneur Program, YEP, IPSF Young Researchers Forum, and Tat the Roots, Not Your Lungs, which were recently held. That was really interesting, especially Tat the Roots, Not Your Lungs. That was very, very catchy, and I like that. So my PSA's EXCO, I assume, must have been very involved in managing and coordinating all the events and programs. So it's time for Miss Suan. So Miss Suan, how often do you check your phone updated with my PSA event and other related extracurricular activities? If let's say there are my PSA events that overlap with the academic schedule, how do you manage this?
Okay, thank you, Miss Shahira. So I spotted two questions there. I will first proceed with the first question, right, which is how often do I check my phone? So regarding digital devices, I would like to point out first, I think I need to clarify that in general, I'm not someone who really likes to use her phone. Like for example, if I go out or if I'm in lectures, I don't really like to check my phone because it distracts me and I want to be mindful towards the thing that I'm focusing on. So however, with leadership, it's a different story because I realize, especially when you take up key roles, right? When there are other people depending on you, you need to use your phone even more often because you need to be the key communicator. You need to communicate with even more people. So I realized the higher up position you are, you actually need to be more sensitive and attentive towards replying people and answering people in a timely manner because at the end of the day, you are the one who has the final say before things get to proceed or not. So for example, if your boss or your president don't reply you for 10 days, then semua tak jadi kan, everything no green light. So your association will be in a standstill. So like naturally with a leadership position, you'll have to use your phone more, which is what changed with me. And like Jess said, you have to stay up with your committees. I've been there. You have to work out with any emergency things that come up. So going back to the question, right, how often do I check my phone? So based on my screen time, last week I checked up to an average of 5 hours per day. And that includes like social media, listening to music, and answering, doing any work or academic related activities. And 5 hours per day, it's actually a lot, and it's considered the minimum for me already, because I'm actually currently in my midterm week. So this is the lowest I can go, and it's still like 5 hours is almost a quarter of your day already. So if you like factor in the time to like sleep and like eat or bathe, like imagine how little time you have left to allocate for studying, right? So but with that being said, I need to sidetrack a bit also. Like now that everything is digitalized in our world, especially amidst our pandemic era, right? Our phone here is basically this one device that is a necessity at this point in time, because like we get to communicate with our friends and family, and also like educational like updates, and also like how our association reaches out to their members right now. It's through this one single device. So it's like basically the portal to civilization right now, because like everyone is isolated from each other. Yeah, so with that being said, it's also no wonder why we get news about younger generation being more addicted to their phones. And scientifically, it's natural, because our brain is wired to be more attentive and craving towards novel stimulation, because this means that your new notifications or your news feed, it becomes way more interesting than like studying or like doing your work, because like it's new and like you get to respond to it immediately. There's a live action right there. So yeah, with that being said, it's inevitable to spend more time. I spend 5 hours per day, but maybe I would want to reflect on that a bit more. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's more about how you want to limit your focus whenever possible. And that is something that no one teaches you. That's something that you get to gain and learn as you go, as you maneuver through your responsibility amidst all the chaos, the never-ending notifications from your one device. So it's like pandai-pandai lah, you allocate your time kan, because at the end of the day, that's what brings you your results. Okay, so going to the next question, right? Ms. Shahira said regarding if there's an overlap of academic and activities in my PSA, how will I manage it? So like currently it's like a prime example right now, because like I actually have a test tomorrow, but like I'm here right now, so not gonna lie, I'm like a bit stressed, but like tak apa lah, dah janji dengan organizing committee. kidding. So like, okay, back to the question, how will I manage this? I think what I can summarize are 3 main steps that I think could help me balance and juggle all my priorities. The first tip, I mentioned the word already, it's to prioritize, because it's very important for you to be able to focus on one thing at a time. So you have to be able to delegate your tasks depending on the urgency and importance of that activity. And by delegating, like Miss Jessica said, like you look through your performa. It's actually called academic calendar in my uni. So like, okay. So through that, you are able to like do your to-do list for like the day or the week. And like for me, I personally put like at least 3 things to do per day. That way you get to set out your time according to deadlines, and also, and like Miss Aisha said, you have to be flexible with it. You have to be able to move a bit, and by setting a goal each day, you actually get to harness productivity, and by productivity, you get to prevent procrastination. That's the solution for procrastination, by the way, guys. In case y'all are always asking what can I do because I keep procrastination. So like, yeah, productivity is the key. And prioritizing. So that brings to my second point, which is discipline. It's super cliche and very common that everyone needs discipline. You always hear this, but actually the more you hear about these tips, the more crucial it actually is, because you need the discipline to be able to stay away from your phone, to reduce the stimulation that you get just now. Like I mentioned before, how our brain likes our phone. Concentration on the more boring and mundane tasks instead. So just a question, like how often do you find yourself with the urge to pick up your phone whenever you study, right? Like personally, for someone who doesn't like to use her phone, I don't know why I like naturally start reaching out slowly for my phone every 5 minutes when I start saying, I'm like, oh my god, this is actually withdrawal symptoms. Like our phone is basically our digital drug at this point. Okay. And like and so yeah, that's when I got a bit worried. So like people will ask now, how do we overcome this addiction? If any of you already like admit, okay, maybe you can challenge yourself tonight, like see how long you can go without your phone, and like it's actually harder than you think. So what I figured worked for me to overcome this addiction is actually to spend longer time without your phone. Means like when you feel the urge to reach out your phone, you tahan, you just focus on your work. Because the longer time you spend without your phone, it's actually easier to repeat that habit and like you enhance it. So you build up tolerance to that digital drug that I mentioned, and then this will build up your momentum to study whenever you need to. Okay, so on to my last point, because I hope I'm not taking up too much time. Reflection and sacrifice. That is my third point, third tip to manage your life and juggle everything that you have in plan, because you need to reflect back on your priorities, which is the step one again. So being a student, this is like the perfect time for you to leverage on what you think works for you, what you like, what you don't like, and you are able to adapt to your environment. Like, oh, what should I do if this thing arises? So with reflection, you also need to sacrifice eventually, because with so much heavy responsibilities, right? Eventually, sometimes you need to put like sacrifice, pinjam some time to put in another specific region if it demands more urgency, if you need to solve something. So yeah, with sacrifice as well, it comes hand in hand. Everything comes with a sacrifice. And with sacrifice also, I think I need to point out that you need to be really mindful of what you sacrifice, because if you don't put your priorities first, who will? Like no one else will take up the responsibility of how you manage your own time except for yourself. So that is something that you're responsible to yourself. So with that being said, you need to let go a bit and find out your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I taking up this position? Why am I studying? Like Jessica said, right, for your patients, or is it just because for the sake of studying? If you find out your why, if it's very strong and like it gives you importance, then you'll surely be able to create balance and interchange between your two or more main priorities, and then that way you can grow skills at like one at a time in both areas or even more simultaneously, and that will make you the title for today, right? So an awesome all-rounder. So yeah, my takeaways for like how I manage my time is to firstly prioritize, second discipline, and third is a bit of reflection, and sacrifice is necessary along the way. Thank you, Ms. Shaira. Back to you.
Wow, that is very, very, very good, because when I heard you said that your average screen time is 5 hours, I think that's just a normal. I mean, that you know that there are a lot of more people. Even me myself, my screen time is almost 6 hours and 15 minutes and so on. And I'm just a student, so I think the main point that was just being said back then is phone. Okay, the gadgets is the barrier of multitasking especially. So that was very good. You have 3 steps of how you manage, okay, between your academic and your extracurricular activities. Okay, that was very okay. Let's proceed. We as a human, we also have emotions and feelings, which differentiates us from robots. We also can feel tired, stress, especially right. Some people say it's to dying, but let's not do that. These aspects need to be managed wisely, because you know everybody has a way of controlling emotions with the current situation. Some people have great management of their feelings that until that we don't even know how or what they are feeling. Like let's say if they are angry, they manage to hide their emotions and be happy along together with people around them. But sometimes some people can also follow their emotions despite of what is happening around them, which can affect works or things that they worked on. Okay, so to our last speaker, Miss Alia Nabila, I bet MESTA have tons of activities going on. What did you feel about handling the activities? How do you cope with the stress of studying and the stress of handling the activity?
Okay, thank you, Miss Shaira, for that wonderful two questions, I think. So I will answer the
Yes.
first question is how I feel about handling activities organized by MESTA. So for your information, MESTA actually has lots of bureaus. So I am the deputy for the Bureau Academic, but there are also sports, there are also multimedia, there's also economy. So in each of the bureaus, there will be activities conducted. So for example, if you have 7 bureaus, and then there will be around 3 activities for each bureau. So that is a total of 21 activities. And the best thing about MESTA is that if you are in a if you are in a academic bureau, you can always go and volunteer to be a part of another bureau's programs. For example, out of the 21 activities that has been conducted in the year, you could actually be involved in all of them, but obviously not lah, because we will delegate the members. Okay, you go this one, you go this one for the activities. So this actually offers a lot of interesting activities that you would not be normally be doing in your bureau itself. So how I feel during the activities conducted is, firstly, I would feel like a big family, because MESTA has lots of members. I think we have more than 200 members in our society. And when we are when we are doing programs with other bureaus, we actually create a sense of bonding. So that's why I feel like when we are doing the activities, we are like a big family, because we are helping each other, we are helping gaining new knowledge from each other. So for example, in multimedia, if they hold an event regarding Photoshop, and you are part of that, or you yourself will know or how to conduct a Photoshop, how you pick up the skills to do such and such. So I think the first one would be, how I feel would be like a big family. We feel like a teamwork. You get a sense of belonging as a society, and that's important. And then the second part is um, the second feeling you will be with handling many activities would be tired, of course. You feel tired. You feel sometimes if a member of your of the program make a mistake, and then you'll feel like, why are they not doing their job? You feel angry sometimes. So that is normal, because obviously we are human. We are prone to make mistakes. And however, how we handle our feelings towards our society members is actually our personal growth. Meaning that, okay, I am angry. She did not do her job. He did not pick up the things. So how can I handle my emotions? And this is very important, because as a pharmacy student or as a medical student, our aim is to become a pharmacist or a doctor, and we'll be dealing with lots of patients, lots of kind of behaviors that will trigger us, that will make us mad. So that's how we can learn to manage our emotions well. And the last part is obviously because each program has their own objectives. So after the program has finished, most people will be satisfied if the outcomes meet the objectives. For example, there's no program that doesn't have an objective. For example, if you want to help students learn better, so maybe you bring in a lecturer, three lecturers for the bash, and the lecturers can explain what is important, and this would help the students in in their exams. So if the knowledge gained from the talk is beneficial to the students, then you have met your objective. However, if, for example, the students are not satisfied, because obviously in every program there will be a feedback form, so students can give their feedback regarding the program, and if there are some criticism or things that the students feel like we should improve, then that is not actually a failure of the program. However, it's actually an opportunity for the committee members to learn from their mistakes. For example, if the students feel dissatisfied regarding some aspects, so the committee can take note and make a solution, talk about the solution in the postmortem. So for further activities, or if the event itself is a yearly event, And the next year, the committee members for the next year would not make the same mistakes as we did. So that's very important. Yeah, so that's the three basically feelings when you handle you handle a program. You feel a sense of belonging. You feel sometimes angry, sometimes sad if the program does not go into your does not go as you planned, and you feel satisfied because you feel like the program actually helps people. So sorry for talking a lot. So the second question would be, how do you cope with the stress of studying and the stress of handling or joining activities? So I think it's very important because I rarely get stressed. I rarely get stressed. Why? Because I think it's important for us to find the source of stress itself. For example, is it because when you are doing the program, there's too much that I have to do? Is it because there's too much workload that I myself have to do? So like Jessica said previously, when she entered the organization, she would feel like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, without delegating the task to the committee members. So sometimes when you are in a position of as a director, or you feel like you have to do everything, but no, actually teamwork is very important. You don't have to do everything. Your teammates are there to help you. So if the source of your stress comes from you have too much work, then delegate your task. Make sure that everyone does their job, and make sure that you are not burdened. Okay, the second reason why we are stressed is because we feel like it takes too much time. Oh, I'm not focusing on studying as much as I am on focusing on this program. So how we could I think the two speakers before me already talked about schedule. Oh, sorry, the three speakers before me talked about planning. And yes, it's very cliche. And yes, I am the fourth person to say it. But planning your week is very, very important for you to not feel like you are spending too much time on one thing. And yeah, and instead of your mindset is very important. Instead of thinking that this program is time consuming, you would say that this program is time fulfilling, meaning you are making good use of your time by participating in programs that can enhance your skills, your communication skills, your whatever skills. And I think clubs or societies or associations are very important in developing skills that are not related to our studies, because we won't be students for we won't be students for a long time. We'll become pharmacists, we'll become a doctor, surgeons, or whatever. So studying, becoming a student is not our main goal in our life. Okay, even though we still have to study a lot, but it's not our main goal. Okay, I hope that answers the questions.
Wow, that's really I feel that I got lots of tips today because I am a part two pharmacy student in the first year student. So I think there are 3 more years that I need to go through. So the tips that was given, they are really, I would say I was speechless actually when Miss Alia said she really gets stressed, and when I heard that she finds the source of the stress, I was like, wow, that's so mature of her, because not all people can, when you get stressed. You don't like get stressed and, oh, why I'm stressing, it's just stress. But now I think I would love to learn how to manage my stress. So really thank you for that. So now we are almost at the end of the program. It's very interesting to hear 3 speakers plus one, which did not uh, was not here today, but she gave her answer to us. So it's very interesting to hear all the guests share their experience, how to excel in their own ways. Unfortunately, we have come to the end. Okay, but let us spare another 10 minutes for Q&A. Okay, from the live YouTube. Okay, let me see the question. Okay. there is one question that I was really that attracts my eye. Okay, it's about an opinion. Okay, have you ever experienced a complete mental breakdown from all the stress of study? If so, how do you rise? So with this question, I would love to hear from Miss Jessica. Can you give your opinion based on this?
All right, thank you to whoever who gave this question, and thank you for actively participating in this Q&A session. In my opinion, have I ever break down? If I say no, do you believe? I don't think so. Yeah, actually, to me, yes. Sometimes it's not about the workload I have, but it's actually more on the people that we are working with. Sometimes really working with different people, it give you more stress, but actually this is what we have to learn in the future, because you're going to go to the adult world and there are way more people that you're going to meet with different personalities and so on, and how are you going to work with them in the future, right? So yes, it wasn't really happy for me when it happened. So I took my time to take a rest for myself. It's like, okay, someone hit you, but it's okay lah. I give myself a healing time. So I give more me time to myself to reward myself. So if people don't give you something good, people don't give you reward, then I think we should treat ourselves better. So what, by saying that doesn't mean that we can just relax forever. No, we should also limit ourselves so that at the same time when we're healing, things are still going on. So to me, I would like to re-emphasize me time is really important. No matter what you're in, do love yourself first before you do anything. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. The key there is the me time. Yeah, that same as question for Miss Aisha, who's not here. So how about Miss Suen? About mental breakdown, and how do you rise back? Do you have another way, or the way is the same like everyone?
For me, I wouldn't say I have a complete breakdown yet because I'm like still here. I'm still surviving. So I think I'm still okay lah. I hope. So like how I actually overcome these sort of like difficulties or like mental block when you're like so burnt out. So I think like Jessica said as well, yeah, a lot of me time, a lot of healing to do. And like with all of our things that we said, right, like extracurricular activities and then like completing all the work, actually it comes hand in hand with breaks as well. You cannot keep on going without breaks. Like it's scientifically proven actually, I think, that you have to be able to take breaks and it will actually enhance your productivity rather than going long term and towards one thing. It will actually decrease your efficiency. So to me, yeah, taking breaks is my key point to how I managed to overcome it. Because like one night of good sleep or just like one meet up with your friends, it can completely change your day, completely change your mood. So yeah, take breaks, guys.
It's very good. Have a me time, take breaks, yes, because we are humans, right? As I said earlier, if we don't take break, then what we are, a robot. So take a break, have a me time. So we have plenty time left. I want to ask Miss Alia Nabila. There's also one question. This is quite. I would not say it's tricky, but it's quite based on our own opinion. So there is question asking that frequent multitasking actually changes the way the brain functions. Some say it's leading to decreased productivity even when focused. What's your opinion about this?
This is about to get very technical. Thank you for the question. So actually, yes, maybe for example, if you are doing multitasking, for example, you are reading while you are listening to songs. So you are actually stimulating the part of your brain, the auditory part of your brain, the cortex, which is at the back of your head, and you are stimulating the front of your head, which is involved in your motor skills because you are reading. Visual. So yes, listening to songs and reading requires you to understand the words from the songs. Requires you to understand the words you are reading from the book. So in some ways it might make you lose focus. Sometimes you tend to focus more on the song, and sometimes you tend to focus on the book. So I think for multitasking in this aspect is actually what we are today. What we are talking about is multitasking and how to balance club activities and our academic studies. So obviously these two things are very different. And for multitasking like that, like listening to the music and reading, yes, maybe it can affect how you focus. However, for multitasking while doing your club activities and your academic studies, so I think that will be very beneficial because you gain more when you are actively in a club. For example, I joined the UiTM Surgical Students Association. So when even though I was in year one, I was exposed to the surgical instruments. I was exposed to how we actually how we if there's a cut and you have to sew. So I was exposed to the very different ways of how to sew someone's skin, and I actually got the opportunity to sew up a chicken, a chicken that has been cut, and yeah, it was very very wonderful for multitasking. I think. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering the question. So now we really have come into the last part of the program. It was sad because I really hearing all of the panelists share their experience, their own tips, which is it's not new. It's people will say it's the cliche tip is the one that people don't really do right. So that's it for today. I hope everyone that is watching the online sharing session just now get as many inputs that you can, and really hope that it will be useful for you in the future. We would like to express our great panelists for spending your time with us, especially the ones who are really busy right now. Thank you very much. Because you have shared your insights about today's topic. I would like to remind the participants to fill in the feedback form in the chat box, especially to those who have registered earlier to get your own certificate. So that's it. We wish you have a good day ahead. Stay safe, stay home. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.